Hi, I'm Patty Fuensalida, Transformational Mindset Coach, and I want to talk to you about letting go. Now, whenever something negative happens, we get the advice to just let it go, to just take whatever it was that happened and leave it in the past and move on. But it's a lot harder to implement letting go than it is to just think about it. So I want to give you 4 steps that might help you through the process. Now, you don't need to do these 4 steps in any kind of order. It's just where you're at, it'll show you the ones that you need to work on a little bit more. The first step is acceptance. Now, let's define what acceptance actually means. Accepting something that has happened is being able to experience it in the present moment without the desire to change it. So without the longing for things to be different. So if we're not there, then we know that acceptance is probably one of the steps that we need to work on. Because once we're able to accept something, we're able to hold it long enough to be able to let it go. If I don't own something, it's going to be really difficult for me to let it go. Now, another step that you can look at is compassion. Now, compassion can be a little bit different, especially when we have a lot of anger or resentment towards the person that has hurt us. Now, one of the things that you can do to have compassion is connect with your creativity. When we create compassionate stories about people in our lives, whether we're really close with them or not, we're able to relax the way that we feel so that we can move forward. The reality is that all of us have issues. We all have a history. We all have internal motivations. Some of those motivations we share with the people that we love, and some we keep on the inside and we don't share with people. But everybody that you come into contact with, just like you, has things that they're afraid of, has things that they regret, little things about themselves that they're ashamed of. And all of those things that are going on inside are motivating our behavior and our actions. So when somebody hurts you, try to come up with some kind of a compassionate story about them. It might be something very specific, like, well, this person didn't love me the way that I needed to be loved because they didn't grow up with that kind of an example. So how can I be mad at them if they didn't really have a way of learning how to do that, embedded in their history? I want to make just a quick note on compassion, because compassion is different from understanding. A lot of times we seek to forgive and to let go of things by saying, well, I don't understand. And once I understand why they did what they did, I'll be able to let it go. But the truth is that many times we don't even understand why we do things. So even if somebody sits with you and explains to you, these are the reasons that I behaved the way that I did, and these are the things that I was feeling, and they're very open about it, the reality is that what they're expressing to you is being expressed through filters of their own consciousness, and what you are receiving from that communication is being filtered through your filters. So there's still going to be a gap in understanding. So think of understanding as a moving target, and instead of seeking that, seek to connect with compassion for that person instead. Now, another step of letting go is forgiveness. And this can get a little hairy, because first we need to get super clear as to what it means to us to actually forgive somebody, right? To me, the definition of forgiveness is being able to have an experience have occurred, allowing that person to receive my forgiveness, to say, I am no longer going to hold you accountable to this thing that happened in the past. So there's a difference between forgiving somebody or saying that we forgive somebody and then keep continuing to bring up whatever it was that happened, because that's not really letting it go. That's not really forgiving, right? And forgiving somebody and saying, okay, I have compassion for the person that you were in that moment, or I accept whatever it was that happened, and I am willing to leave it in the past. So when we forgive, we're able to leave that thing, that other experience with the people that you both were, or more than 2 of you, that you were in that past moment. So we don't continuously keep bringing up the fact that, well, the first time that we met, you did this, or the last time that we went to this restaurant, you did this, or the last time that you met this person, this happened. Not bringing things up is being able to actually forgive and let it go. Now, the final step is gratitude. And gratitude can get a little weird, right? Because how in the world can we be grateful for something that has hurt us. And I'm going to give you a super clear example from a client that actually taught me this about 15 years ago. This is a woman who had had a horrible experience of sexual assault and battery. And it was not a single incident, it was pretty severe. And when we were working on letting go, we worked on being grateful for that experience for a really long time. And if you can imagine asking somebody who's been assaulted to be grateful for that experience is a huge leap. So clearly this is not step one, and this is something that you are going to push yourself with to the level that you feel comfortable. But through all of these months of work that we did together, when she finally was able to let go is when she was able to find the gratitude for that experience. And it's really difficult. But for her, she found that the lesson was that she got to learn how to forgive the unforgivable. So this experience changed her, it traumatized her, it hurt her so much, but it also transformed her level of forgiveness, the ability that she had to be able to hold somebody who was so vile and so hurtful in her life, and to be able to see the lesson in it. Like I said, this is a really difficult process for most people, but you can get there. So if this is a step that you get stuck on, it's okay. For most people, this is where they get stuck. Just hold on to it in the back of your mind as an opportunity to find a lesson. How did you grow from it? What did you get from that experience that you wouldn't have had if you hadn't gone through it? So again, your 4 steps are acceptance, compassion, forgiveness, and gratitude. Take your time, just evaluate, where am I at and what can I do to move forward through these steps? But it takes time, so don't rush it.